G'day and welcome back to another episode of Winging It Down Under. Last week we were hot on the trail of Bushranger Ben Hall, and this week we're wrapping up the Ben Hall historical tour with a visit to his cave hideout in Weddin Mountains National Park. While we're there, we stumble across Seaton'S farm, built by a true Aussie legend, entirely from scraps and second-hand materials. But first, we're stopping to camp at a Heritage Railway Station free camp in Grenfell, a gold rush town with a quirky twist.
Morning folks, so this morning we are at the Grenfell Historical Railway Station. There's a donation camp here that we're staying at. So at this camp you've got flushing toilets over there, you've actually got a pit there to put all your you can have a fire here, that's no problem, as long as you get rid of your ashes in the pit over there. There's a lunch area here with tables and chairs and barbecue, there's like gas or electric barbecue in there. There's a dump point just over the back there. It's a nice grassy area, and town is just over here behind us. You can basically walk to town if you want. So yeah, I think it's a nice place, but it's bloody cold at the moment. It was supposedly this morning it was saying feels like minus 6.2 degrees. In my opinion, that's cold.
So here we are at Grenfell, a lovely little town. Steve's just putting the drone up so you can have a bit of a look around our camp here, and I'll just take you over to have a look at the old railway station. So apparently the Lions Club have been restoring this old train station since the mid-1990s. Well, we're in Grenfell, and this is where Henry Lawson was born in the goldfields back in 1867.
And as you can see, it's that bloody cold here. He's even got a beanie on. Someone's put a beanie on him.
So we're in Main Street at the moment here in Grenfell. The original Main Street actually was George Street, one street over.
What happened was, before the surveyors got here to come and survey the roads to turn it into the main street, all the prospectors and the people had moved in and already set all their tents and everything up along the side of the road.
Yeah.
And it wasn't wide enough for them to turn a horse and carriage around in the main street. So they moved the main street one street down,
yeah,
and surveyed it and made it wide enough so that they could turn a horse and carriage around, which
yeah,
they couldn't do in the other street.
The town of Grenfell sprang up during the gold rush in 1866. Miners set up tents and huts along the curve of Emu Creek, and before long a street emerged between them. That became George Street, Grenfell's very first main street.
Okay, so we are now in George Street, which we were talking about before. Now, this is one of the original first brick structures that were built here in Grenfell. And this is the street they were talking about, which is the only curved main street in Australia, isn't it?
One of the few curved main streets in Australia.
Main streets in Australia, and this is why they had to move the main street over where we just were, because look how narrow this is. There was tents and everyone was just crammed along this little narrow road here, and obviously it's not wide enough to lucky to be able to turn a car around in here. You have to do a 50-point turn, so yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so when the gold rush started, this is where it was all happening. All the tents popped up here, all the prospectors were here.
Yep, there was tents on both sides of the road all the way down. and there just wasn't enough room. It wasn't big enough to make as a main street, so they moved it over there.
Yeah,
Interesting.
very interesting. And that's how Grenfell ended up with two main streets. Pretty unique for a country town. George Street's still here though, with some original buildings that take you right back to those gold rush days. So I've dragged Steve around town for probably about an hour now, looking at Grenfell.
Yes. There's a lot of old historical buildings here, like really old stuff. Really old.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
It really is fascinating, this place.
And a lot of them, people are still living in them. Like, there's people still living in a lot of these really old buildings. There's an old original miners' hut further down the road here that we went and had a look at, and there's people living there.
Private residents.
Residents. Really old, but
I didn't expect to be spending so much time here looking at everything, but there's just so many beautiful old buildings, all steeped in history from the gold rush.
Yeah.
All right, we can go home now.
Praise the Lord. We'll go home and I'll get a fire going.
All right. So we're here at Grenfell, and I've got to say this is the best silo art we've ever seen so far. Morning everyone. Well, we've had a good look around Grenfell, the town, and we've taken a little drive just up the hill here, O'Brien's Hill, and we're at the site where gold was first discovered here back in 1866.
Which is what the town started from.
That's right.
This is what started the town, the gold here. So
a shepherd found it.
Yeah. So we'll go for a little walk around and have a look. It's a nice little town, this.
Oh, it's a lovely town.
Yeah,
really
nice.
Amazing.
Friendly people. It's just a nice little town.
Really amazing. Amazing history. Right, let's have a bit of a look around.
Yep, we will.
During the period 1867 to 71, the peak period of gold production in Grenfell, there were 13 of these machines operating.
So this here is what they call a horse works, and apparently what they did was the horses were strapped. Looks like they had timber coming out of that wheel there, and then the horses were strapped to that, and they walked around and around and around this thing here, which drove that gear there and did all sorts of other. They used that to do all sorts of things. So yeah, and apparently if you were a miner and you had a horse, you were actually considered as being quite well off, because horses were quite valuable to have. They were a major tool, a major piece of equipment for working in the mine, or basically anything else around here. So they used it to bring up the pay dirt from the mine. So also all the dirt which they had to process, it was used. The horses were used to bring it up. So yeah, there you go, another bit of history.
At the time, the Grenfell goldfields were the richest in the colony, with 12.5 tonnes of gold having been discovered between 1866 and 1874. So before we go back to the caravan, we thought we'd go and just check out the exact site of where the poet Henry Lawson was born, and it's right here on the Grenfell goldfields. To the memory of Henry Lawson, this tree was planted in 1924 by Mrs. Bertha Jago, daughter of Henry Lawson, to commemorate the spot where her father Henry Lawson was born on 17th of June 1867. Today we're heading out to uncover the hideout of the notorious bushranger Ben Hall. In our last episode we took you on a historical tour through the life and legend of Ben Hall, and now, to complete our journey, we're venturing into the rugged terrain where he once roamed and to the cave where he hid from the law. Looks like you can bring your caravan in here, Steve.
Yeah, well there's one here, and it does say you can do that, so...
Alright Steve, you ready to go and find Ben Hall's cave?
I am. We shall go and have a look, see where they hid out.
Yeah, well, this is the whole reason why we came to Grenfell.
It is.
To finish off our tour of Ben Hall.
Yeah.
1.5 k's, 30 minutes, return medium grade.
Well, we can handle that.
Let's go. Okay, we're here already.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's it. That's where Ben Hall and his bushranger mates came and hid, counted all their stash that they stole, counted all the gold up, divvied it all out.
Good cave for him.
With the discovery of gold in 1859, a group of bushrangers made the Weddin Mountains their retreat and hideout. This group of outlaws comprised of Frank Gardner, John O'Malley and John Gilbert. They were later joined by Ben Hall, John Dunn and Mick Burke. The gang raged far and wide, holding up mail coaches, storekeepers, homesteads, a gold escort and on one occasion the town of Canawindra for 2 days. After these raids, they would return to their hideouts in the Weddin Mountains. This cave is one of a number of shelters reportedly used by Ben Hall and his gang. Reasonably high up here.
Yeah. Yep. Yep, they got the high ground. If someone tries to get to them, they're pretty much in a winning position here. Got to climb up that steep rocky bank, so pretty much wouldn't be able to get to them without getting shot.
Yeah, that's true. So I've been thinking, Steve, I've sort of worked out, I think, why the bushrangers sort of diminished in time in the early 1900s.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking it was when, not long after that, they brought the train lines in and the trains.
Yeah.
So they were, the gold and all the goods and everything were brought from town to town on the trains rather than the Cobb and Co.
coaches
and the bullocks.
Yeah.
Cart and bullock.
Yeah, freighted on the trains.
Yeah, so I think they sort of, the bushrangers sort of lost their work then.
Lost their job.
Lost their job to the train lines. Interesting, hey?
It is. there's a lot of interesting history in Australia about bushrangers and just things that happen in this country.
Yep.
Back in the early days.
Well, so that's the end of our little Ben Hall tour.
Yeah.
Hope everyone enjoyed it.
Hopefully, yes, hopefully you did enjoy it. That view out there, beautiful.
Right, while we're here, we're going to a place called Seaton'S farm. It's an old farmhouse that a bloke built back in the 1940s and 50s.
Using whatever he could find around here and
Yeah.
making things work for him.
Established in 1936 during the depths of the Great Depression, the 150-acre property was developed by Jim Seaton and his family using only salvaged and second-hand materials. With limited resources, they constructed a homestead from flattened corrugated iron, mill offcuts, mud earth and hand-cut timber. This was their home, was it, Steve?
Yeah. And it was, they lived here for 21 years.
Oh boy. So this was his stash of old bits and pieces that he made use of.
What in today's terms is known as the man shed.
Needs a bit of work in the old man shed, Steve.
Yeah.
Jim valued every piece of building material and nothing was ever thrown away. What's that thing, Steve?
Hidden room.
The hidden room.
Yeah.
It was built by Jim as a storm shelter after severe winds damaged several roofs, including the main house. The Seaton'S bred chooks as a source of eggs for themselves and for roosters to sell to the local community. They rarely ate the chickens, as the supply of eggs was far more valuable. Right, this was the shearing shed apparently. The shearing shed was home to milking cows which produced fresh milk for the family, and sheep for wool and meat production.
That's what the gears and that were for in that shed. There's gears on here and gears on that. That's what a lot of those spare gears were hanging up in the men's shed.
Right. What is that, Steve? Harvester or something?
Yeah, some sort of harvester, yeah.
Wow. Jim and his wife Bertha led a hard and frugal lifestyle, working the land for decades with determination and resourcefulness.
Well, thanks everyone for watching this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a thumbs up and hit the like button. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. and we shall see you on the next one.